I just bought this Specialized S-Works SL2 tarmac and it cost me less than an Allez. In fact, it cost me £315. It was actually the cheapest S-Works on the internet when I bought it. So why did I buy it? Well, it goes back to the fact that the tarmac for me has been a bike that I have always wanted. When I was working in a bike shop 10 plus years ago, the tarmac was always the bike that I really wanted but could never get my hands on. Because let's be honest, the tarmac has never been cheap. It's just even more expensive now. So when I saw this come up for sale on eBay, I had to jump on it because how often can you buy an S-Works level bike for tri-band money? The SL2 is actually a very interesting bike for a number of reasons. It's the third tarmac that Specialized made after the E5 and then the SL1, and the frame shape didn't change too much from the SL2 to the SL3 to the SL4, and actually you can see plenty of similar design cues make it onto the SL5 as well. It was the SL2 that Tom Boonen had a lot of influence on over the development process, because that was the same time that Specialized started to sponsor Tom's team, Quickstep. The big changes that the SL2 got were mainly around geometry, and since the SL2, the geometry of the tarmac hasn't changed too much. So I think it really does say quite a lot about pro rider influence on the development of bikes, because clearly it's worked out pretty well. Right, that's enough about the history of this bike. So even though it was launched back in 2008, I think we need to have a look at the spec and see how it stacks up. So, of course, everything is built on that S-Works level tarmac SL2 frame. We have a full Shimano Dura-Race 7900 group set. It does look great, but I will say that the Dura-Race group set that came out after the 7900, the 9000, was probably the best looking one that there was. But even still, this 7900 group set really does have that old school cool vibe about it. Looking at the components, Specialized really didn't hold back. They went for a carbon S-Works seat post. It's even one of those ones with a little rubber insert in, supposedly to give you more comfort, but whether that's the case or not, I'm not too sure. I'm yet to find out. But Specialized also fitted an S-Works carbon stem and a set of S-Works carbon bars. I believe that stem is 100mm and I believe those bars are 40 centimeters wide. Moving over to the wheels now, and we've got a set from Mavic. These are the Crucerium Elites. I'm pretty sure these have been fitted later because if you look at original pictures of the SL2, Specialized were actually fitting zip wheels to this bike, so I think these are a later addition. Fitted to the wheels are a set of Continental GP5000 tyres. We've got a pair of old Specialized bottle cages, and then we've got a Specialized saddle to top it all off. Since this bike is from 2008 and is approaching its 20th birthday, I'm sure it's going to have a few problems. I of course have no idea how well this bike has been looked after, but initially, I can see that this bike does need a re-cable. The cables are looking good, but when I feel the levers, I can tell there's a little bit of friction in the lines, and actually, I'd feel much happier if I just rip them all out, replace the cables, and know that I'm starting from a good place. That bar tape, I've no idea where it's come from, but it's kind of black leathery stuff and I do really want to get rid of it. I always feel like using someone else's bar tape is a bit like wearing someone else's underwear. And then those rubber hoods, again, they have definitely seen better days. I would not be surprised if they hadn't been changed in the past 20 years. I think it's going to be a little bit tough to find a set of brand new Dura-Race 7900 rubber hoods, but I'll do some digging and I'll see what I can find. The tyres are an abomination. The tyres are actually the reason why this bike is not safe to ride, because the amount that they have perished is insane. There is cracking all along the edge, and yeah, if I hit a puddle, I'm pretty sure they would send me flying. So definitely need some new rubber. Looking at the drivetrain, again, that needs a lot of love. A new chain and cassette are definitely in order. The chain set actually isn't looking that bad. I think it just needs a really thorough clean. And then the jockey wheels, again, they're looking pretty good. They just need a really solid clean. Interestingly, when I spun the wheels up on this bike, as you usually do, you know, spin the pedals around and see what the free hub sounds like, when I applied the brake, the smell of burning was quite intense. And Usually, sometimes you can expect to get a little bit of a smell of burning, but this was unlike anything else. I have a sneaking suspicion that the brake pads in these calipers are actually for a set of carbon wheels, so I'll absolutely be ripping those out and putting in a fresh set of pads. The wheels, actually not too bad. There's still plenty of life left in the brake tracks, and the bearings actually feel incredibly smooth, so I do think these really were quite a recent addition to the bike. The saddle really needs replacement. Don't forget, a saddle is a wearable part, and over time it will need replacing once you collapse all of that support in there. I'm also not a fan of white saddles. In my opinion, the colour of your saddle and the colour of your bar tape should at least match to some degree. The paintwork itself has started to age somewhat, and when you look at pictures of the SL2 on the website, the writing and the decals look much whiter than they do here. In front of me, and I don't know if this is coming through on camera, but they're looking quite yellow, so I'm gonna see if there's anything I can do to maybe brighten those up and kind of maybe get rid of some of that yellowness. It might not be possible without damaging the lacquer, so I'm not gonna do anything too crazy. When I remove the chain set from this bike, I am gonna replace the bottom bracket no matter what, because if you're doing a full and entire strip down, replacing a bottom bracket is kind of the least that you can do. It also gives a great opportunity just to have a look inside the frame. Some of you might be wondering why I bought this bike, and well, there's a few reasons. One, how often can you actually buy an S-Works for under £500? And two, this bike just needs a little bit of love to bring it back to where it could be. Yes, it is dated, and no, it doesn't have hydraulic disc brakes or electronic gears, but I know that once I've sorted this thing out, it is going to make for a brilliant bike for someone over summer. It's going to be lightweight, the geometry isn't that far off of what a modern day tarmac is, and really, it just looks really cool. I think in a world where everyone's bike kind of looks the same, bikes like this really stand out and maintain that old school cool look. And to be honest, I think bikes like this are only ever going to become more and more popular. Let me know down below what you think I should do with this SL2 tarmac, and let me know if you think I made a mistake spending £300 on a 20-year-old bike. Who knows, maybe it's all going to go wrong. But tune into the next video where I fully strip down this bike and find out what its true gremlins are, and if I can actually bring it back to life.